This video is for all very beginner violins. We're going to review the parts of the instrument as well as the exercises we have plucking. So first things first, your violin has a body, right? And on the side of the body, the instrument has ribs. Just like we have a body, we also have ribs. The instrument also has a neck, which we talked about in class. And on the neck is the scroll, that fancy piece up top. The scroll has the pegs and the peg box where the pegs sit inside, right? And the pegs are used to help tune the strings, either tighten them or loosen them as needed. There's the fingerboard, which is this black part here, which is where our 4 strings sit, and we'll go over what those strings are in just a second. The black piece is called the fingerboard because that's the only place that our fingers should go. You see that we also have this black piece here, which is called the tailpiece. So we know our instrument has a body, it has ribs, it has a neck, and now it has a tail, right? Tailpiece. This part right here is called the bridge, and it's called the bridge because it helps connect those strings from the fingerboard to the tailpiece, as you can see. The instrument also has these holes, which are in the shape of fancy Fs, so they're called F holes, and they allow the sound to project out of the instrument. If you look into the F holes really close, if you have your instrument, it's probably better than looking at mine, but you can see a little piece of wood inside the instrument, and that's called the sound post, and that helps keep everything adjusted correctly on your instrument so that it doesn't break and that the sound can actually come out the way that we know and hear the violin. Right here we have our chin rest, which is where our chin will go in just a second when we go to put the instrument up to our left shoulder. So we talked about in class holding out our left hand, right? Make sure you're holding out your left hand and not your right. Make sure you can make an L and it looks like an L to you. That's your left hand. You're gonna take your left hand like this, make an L, put it up against the neck of the violin before the scroll. You're gonna hold it out in front of you like this. I want you to turn it to your right. Now I want you to lift your chin and bring the instrument up to your left shoulder. Ready? And go. So your instrument's up on your left shoulder. You're going to bring your chin down to the chin rest, and you shouldn't be holding the violin like this inside your hand. Your hand should be able to drop, and you should be able to hold your violin like this, just from your chin to your shoulder. Then you're going to take your left hand, you're going to make that L again, you're going to put it up by the scroll like that. Fingers are not touching the strings, they're just sitting there lightly, okay, so the strings can vibrate freely. You're then going to take your right hand, make another L, and you're going to take your thumb and put it at the very edge of the fingerboard, okay? So the tip of my thumb goes to that pointy edge of the fingerboard. It doesn't go here, it doesn't go here, it doesn't go here, only here, okay? And then you have your index finger, which is going to pluck the strings. Remember, when you pluck the string, it's just you're going to take the string and pull it like that, okay? So from left to right, I'm going to tell you our strings. We have our lowest string, which is G. Go ahead and pluck G. Then we have our next string, which is D. Go ahead and pluck D. Then we have our next string, A. Go ahead and pluck A. And then we have our highest string. Go ahead and pluck E. So the exercises that you worked on in class only use A and D. So again, it's only going to use D, which is this string right here from second one from the left, and then your third string from the left, A. Okay? So let's see if we can go to your exercise number 2 and play open D. Ready? And remember that squiggly line is a rest, and that means shh, okay? 1, 2, let's pluck D. D, 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 rest. D, 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 rest. Rest. Then we go to let's pluck A. Ready? Same thing now on the A string. Ready, and then you go to choose a team, where you now kind of mix up both the strings together. Let's see if we can do that. Ready? Start on D. Good. Ready, and D, rest A, rest D, A, D, rest. And then the exercises are going to progressively get a little bit trickier, where they use both strings at different times. So you really want to make sure you pay close attention and you practice those diligently, so when you come back to your lesson in a couple weeks, we're able to move on. Okay? Happy practicing.